Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a very interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want today's full show, is streaming for free on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want the full podcast and listen to it before it comes out, before everyone else, make sure you go to the Dreamers Pro Podcast that we have pinned in the comments section below. Let me get into this. Let me get into this topic here. So yesterday was a very big game in the NBA. We got to see the Battle of LA between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers. And whenever these games come on, there's always a lot of fanfare, right? There's always a lot of excitement. There's a buzz. A lot of people want to see these two teams go head to head, and there's always great theater. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. The Lakers and the Clippers put on a spectacular display that kept all of us on the edge of our seats all throughout that game. So to me, it was a very, very impressive and fun game. To watch yesterday. Ultimately, I would have liked the Clippers to come away victorious, but the Lakers played very well. LeBron James played very well. Played like the top 5 player he is of all time. Some people will say he's a GOAT, whatever, but to me, he really put forth another stellar performance at an advanced age that he is. And he should be commended for that as one of the greatest players of all time. So that happened. Now, on the Clippers side, when the James Harden news initially broke, I was one of the people that was livid by this move, because I just didn't feel that this would be a good move. Not just apart from an X and O standpoint, but more from a chemistry standpoint and a cultural standpoint. James Harden has basically forced his way out of the last 3 locations he has been. That's the Houston Rockets, the Brooklyn Nets, and now the Philadelphia 76ers, where he now finds himself being a Los Angeles Clipper. At the time the trade went down, I was saying to myself, the Clippers don't need James Harden. They're already a loaded roster. They have all of their horses, so I don't know why they would go out there and try to complicate things by getting another scoring point guard / 2 guard on their roster. But nevertheless, they pulled the trigger. Steve Ballmer and these guys said they're going to swing for the fence, and they're giving themselves every single opportunity to try to capture a championship this year. And I think James Harden, to a certain extent, is an insurance policy for some of those guys in case they go out. And I said this before, initially when the news broke. So that happened. So yesterday, I was watching the game. And as you guys know, Russell Westbrook this season for the Clippers is averaging 15 points per game on 51.6% shooting from the field. He's shooting 38.9% from the 3, which is spectacular. That's the highest he's shot in his NBA career, albeit it's only been 5 games. He's shooting 50% from the free throw line, although he's only attempting 2 free throws per game. Just yesterday, before the game, he was shooting 40%, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to that number. Instead, he is getting you, get this, 7.8 rebounds a game and averaging 1.6 offensive rebounds as a guard. That's unheard of. As a point guard, that's unheard of. That's what Russell Westbrook is giving you. He's giving you 7 assists as well, 3.8 turnovers. Last night, if I'm not mistaken, Russell Westbrook finished that game, I believe, with 6 or 7 turnovers. Let me see. He finished that game with 6 turnovers, right? I'll get to that in a moment. And he's getting you 2.2 steals per game, which is the most he's averaged since 2014. So that is spectacular. And also, if you watch the game, Russell Westbrook plays with a lot of energy. He's tenacious. He's going to crash the board. He's going to get in the guys. And he's playing at 120 miles per hour, which is a good thing, but at times it can come back and actually hurt you. And that's really the part I want to focus on. A few things that I want to touch on. Number one, sometimes Russell Westbrook can play out of control. If you look at the end of that game, he had a turnover where he just hit the floor. I mean, he just slipped down on the floor. He sometimes has some unforced errors. He wasn't the only one. Kawhi Leonard did as well. Other players made turnovers in that game. But there was something that was just kind of sitting with me as I was watching the game. And I said to myself, what would it be like if James Harden were to start and Westbrook were to come off the bench? We know Westbrook is going to push the tempo. We know he's going to attack the teeth of a defense and create a lot of open shots for players as he collapses defenses. Maybe he's able to kick it out to open shooters, or maybe cause a hockey pass, get guys moving, really get the defense to move from side to side. He does that. He's going to rebound the ball very well. He's going to crash the offensive board, get you second possessions, which is something that's that cannot be under. You cannot understate that. Yesterday, for example, he got 11 rebounds. 4 of them were offensive rebounds. That's spectacular. He had more offensive rebounds than PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker, who had 5, and he brought in a lot of energy in that game. So he's going to do those things for you, and he's going to assist the ball. But I said to myself, what if James Harden was the one playing? What does he give the Clippers? Well, just looking at Harden, James Harden is a career 24.7% score from the game. He's a career 5.6 rebounder from the game, so he's not going to get you the same amount of rebounds that Westbrook is going to get you. He is going to get you 7 assists per game. However, what he is going to do is he's going to be able to space the floor for you. And that's something that's vital. Last year for the 76ers, he shot 38.5% from the 3. And I'm saying to myself as I'm watching that game, what if it was Harden? Harden is not going to give you the defensive energy. He's going to have to cause you to overcompensate on the defensive side of the floor, but he's also going to make you pay, especially when you go to that small ball lineup. Because that small ball lineup, when they move PJ Tucker to the 5, is when the Clippers were able to get back in the game. Now, for that to work, you need to have perfect spacing on the floor. And you need to trust that that guy is going to hit an open shot. Well, if you remove Russell Westbrook, you have a guy that's shooting 38% from the field, from the floor in James Harden. You have a Paul George who's shooting in the high 30s. You have Kawhi Leonard who's shooting in the high 30s. I forgot, and I think they had Norman Powell in the game who can shoot close to 40% from the 3. And I think that it makes that small ball lineup more lethal. Now, if we look at turnovers per game, let me see what Harden is only averaging 3.4 turnovers a game. The most he averaged before was when he was playing with Brooklyn, which was 4.8, and they both turn over the ball quite a bit. But I just want to believe that Harden is going to be able to control the ball a little bit better because he has a better handle. Russell Westbrook, from time to time, the ball can slip out of his hand. It will just go anywhere at various points. And to me, after watching that game, I came to the conclusion that I would be open to seeing what James Harden will look like in the starting lineup as the starting point guard. I would be very interested to see. We've seen Russ, and Russ is playing exceptionally well. But yesterday was the first time I said to myself, I said, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing what Harden would be like as a point guard starting that game. And the Clippers are going to have 4 days off, and commend those guys for playing back to back, but they're going to have 4 days off. We've heard that James Harden is going to start when he starts on Monday in New York. And to me, I would like to see what James Harden looks like in that starting lineup. So what I want to know from you guys is simply this. Are you curious to see what Harden will look like as a starting point guard over Russell Westbrook? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we'll catch you on the next show. Peace.